Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to share a tip that I use to make loadouts, and it mainly results from me sharing this with my clan and them yelling at me that I didn't share it with them earlier.
Oh,
Justin, I
you're right.
the thing that I'm not often mad at you. I just want you to know that. Even if I'm playing, I'm not often mad at you. I'm infuriated that for 10 years of this fucking game, you held close to your chest that you leave the two middle ones as like reset loadouts, like your active loadouts.
Yeah,
I fucking hate you for that, like
agreed.
holding that
I'll never
close to
forgive
the
you.
chest.
It's
Yeah, why
It's
genius!
why didn't
so
you tell us
no, no,
this
but
2
I
years
want
ago
you to I want
or
you
a
to
year
understand
ago?
I'll make a
it's
video on
so
it.
genius that I enjoy loadouts now. Clip that, put it in your video. Clip
Exactly.
that,
Clip it! I'm
clip that,
clipping
put it
it!
in your video.
So, I use loadouts in a particular way that I think is very beneficial for just casual gameplay. And I think it could benefit people who just don't interact with loadouts because they don't want to deal with setting them up or removing them or dealing with all the nuances of loadouts that I have a lot of gripes with, which I'll talk at the end of the video. And this strategy that I use makes it a lot easier, makes it more friendly for just running a raid or running an activity, and not having to dedicate all these loadout slots to make it work. So let's jump into kind of how I use loadouts and the kind of strategy I'm talking about. And it results from this idea of like a copy and paste. So if I pull up my loadouts here, my warlock, you can see I have like 4 loadouts at the top and then 4 loadouts at the bottom in color. Then I have like the 2 middle ones, which are just white. And what I do is I have these loadout slots as my floating or paste spots. So whenever I have to go to an encounter and I need to create a loadout, usually you have a run around loadout and you have a damage loadout. I simply take whatever exotic I need or whatever build I'm running. So for instance, say I'm doing a raid and I'm doing, I don't know, Crota Ear U and I want to run Cenotaph. So I would take my Cenotaph loadout, which I purposely deleted all the weapons from. If you don't know how to do that, just like get random green or white weapons, put them on, create the loadout, and then delete them. So what I'll do is I'll take whatever exotic and what build I want. So up here I have my Transversives, my Sunbracers, my Rain of Fire, my Cenotaph. I have an Aeon one, a Verity's Brow ones. I have some PvP ones down as well. I'll take whatever exotic I'm running, whatever build. So this is a well Cenotaph. And I'll create my loadout. So now if I need to change, like, oh, I'm using Void, so now I need to change this up. So I should do, Void Scav. And maybe I need to change the Finder up to be a Void Siphon or kind of whatever I'm doing. And then I will take that loadout and I'll paste it in my paste slot. So my paste slot for running around is right here. So I'll just overwrite that with my new kind of run around loadout for whatever encounter I'm doing. And then now I need to create my damage loadout. And for Warlock, I always do Rain of Fire. So I will copy my Rain of Fire build. And then I'm going to change my Rain of Fire build to be Void, for instance, if I'm using Edge Transit here. And then I'll make sure if I want to change anything else, I'll change it there. Maybe I want to switch to Wilder Flight, for instance. And then I would paste it in my DPS paste slot. So now when I go to damage, I know I'm always going to have to just click this one right here, which is, it makes it a lot simpler because a lot of times you're panicking, you're rushing, you're running around, you have whatever loadout you have on, or maybe you're not even using loadouts, maybe you're just switching boots, which is fine. But I know every time I go to damage, I'm clicking this box right here. I'm not looking here like, oh god, which one am I supposed to click? This one, and then I misclick, and then all my abilities are gone, and all my ammo's gone, and then the world's ending. I know I'm always gonna click this number 5 every time. So what's really nice is when I go back out of damage, I can just re-click this, and I'm back to running around doing all my Cenotaph stuff, getting all the ammo, and then when I go to damage, click in here and click the DPS loadout. So that's kind of like the tip I wanted to share. I think it's really beneficial. Again, this is more for a casual play. If you're doing like a day one, maybe you don't want the float loadout. I mean, you probably want to fill like each one of these with something very specific, and then maybe have like 1 or 2 float. I don't know, or just override the loadouts that you already have. But for like 98% of the season, I'm running this kind of setup. So none of these are going to have anything in it. None of these are going to have any weapons or anything specific. It's always going to be these floats that I use. I will always click this one. I will always click this one. And if there's ever like a third one that I need to weave in because of something's difficult, like Pantheon or something, and I'm going super omega tryhard, then I might override some of these and then bring them back later. But some other tips I wanted to give on loadouts. So one thing I always do, and you can see here, these bottom ones, these icons aren't super reflective of the loadouts. I usually have 4 PvP ones, which I realize is really extreme, but like I have one for different elements, which just change my mods to match kind of the element. So right now these ones are on PvE builds, but for instance, my Strand Solar one has a Strand logo, and then my Kinetic one is just Crucible Kinetic. So if I run like No Time, I'll click this one. If I run, Immortal Beloved or something like that, I'll click this one. And then I have like a Void Stasis and an Arc Stasis, for instance. But what I like to do is have quick access ones always here on the left, because if you're going to go click this loadout button, you're going to go all the way to the left, and then the quickest one to get to, in my opinion, is 5. So that's why I always have 5 as my DPS loadout, because I'm never like, oh my gosh, I gotta rush and click my run around loadout after damage. It's always, we're going to damage, we need to rush real quick, boom boom, I'm already there. The quickest one to get to. Sometimes I have 3 as another selector if I need to go to something quickly. But you always have to go far left. Like, you can interact with it right here, and you're pretty much right on 5. So that's another tip. Anything you're doing, like anything unimportant or you have a lot of time to switch to, try to put us farther away from the loadout. So anything in like this bracket right here, like my runaround loadout for like transversives, I'm putting this on if it's like a jumping puzzle. I don't need to go really quick to click transversives any day of the week, So that's the other tip. Try to keep your damage loadouts kind of right here and be consistent, so you always know where they are and you're not panicking. And then again, your run around loadouts. But again, the copy paste feature I think is very beneficial. Again, a lot of clanmates have voiced their opinions that I have kept this secret from them, and now they're finally interacting with loadouts versus before they just kind of did like what most people do, like a boot swap. Just call it a boot swap. Okay, your surges, call it a day. I have some other things I wanted to mention, and it regards what I don't like about loadouts. And it's not anything that I can solve because this is the way Bungie made it, and it's my suggestion. So I'm gonna show a little kind of notepad I have here, and it's the gripes I have with loadouts. So, a couple things. Loadouts save everything. And when I mean everything, I mean literally everything. They save fashion. They save ornaments, shaders, your weapons you have, the weapon like perks you have selected, the mods on your armor, the subclass fragments, the subclass aspects, the order of the fragments matter. If you switch the order of these, so for instance, if I had Resolve right here and then Ashes right here, I would lose all my abilities. Even though they're the exact same subclass, it's just a different order. That's annoying. So what I always wish could happen is when you go to these loadouts, I wish you could delete things. So for instance, I don't care to ever save my abilities, because the 9 times out of 10, I'm never going to change one of my abilities, because if I do, I'm going to lose it. So I never want to change that. And then my, aspects or fragments, sometimes I like to save those, but sometimes I don't. Again, because if I mess up the order, if I mess up, the aspect order, or I do want to change it, I think I would do it intentionally, not, oh, I accidentally clicked the wrong loadout and that had a different fragment on it, and now I'm going to lose everything I had when I switch over to it. So that's one thing, is be able to delete all this stuff, to go in here and be like, I don't need to save my subclass, or I don't need to save this ability, or I don't need to save this. And the same goes for armor. I would never want to save fashion or shaders, in my opinion. Some people might if they want to change like looks real quick, but I really don't care about my looks. I literally 98% of the loadouts that I care about are you're changing my mods for me, or you're changing an armor set to get to a DPS loadout. But 98% of them are I need new mods. And then also weapons. I think it's very annoying to have to have these weapons forced on every loadout when you save them. A lot of times I go into collections and I pull my white and my green and whatever loadout weapons just to make the loadout. So for instance, I just go here and I pull a green AR and a white AR and a green rocket, and I make all my loadouts, and then I delete them. And that's super annoying, have to do that every time you want to like reset a loadout where there's no weapons saved. The other thing that I have a problem with loadouts is it's kind of annoying, and I like to have PvP loadouts, but like my PvP loadouts, like I said before, they only switch mods. So like having 2 whole loadouts dedicated to PvP, I used to have 4. It just takes up a lot of space, and it's only, again, the only difference between these 2 is I can quickly switch from, like, if I'm doing a long range map and I want to switch to no time, I can switch to all my kinetic targeting or all my kinetic mods versus on a different map and I want to use strand and solar. So like having just more loadouts or having a PvP dedicated loadout, like even like a second tab or something you don't have to switch to really quickly. Like, oh, you're in between rounds and PvP, you have a lot of downtime. Like, oh, let me switch it out. Let me click this next page and get the PvP loadouts. I don't know how they're going to do that or if they wanted to do that, but just the 10 loadouts, it seemed like a lot in the beginning, but after trying to build PvE and PvP loadouts, I realized I do not have enough spaces. And it gets really, really annoying when you're like, okay, you know, what do I need to save in DIM? So for instance, I save all my loadouts in DIM in case I overwrite a loadout. So I can go here and then pull any of my loadouts here from DIM. So I can go like, okay, my PvP loadouts, let me grab that and overwrite my in-game loadout. The other thing is I wish the interaction between loadouts and DIM was a bit better. And I know it's not on DIM's fault. It's on Bungie's side. But being able to do that hot swap, like I said before, a little bit quicker. So if I wanted to save all these loadouts, it's pretty easy to go in here and save a loadout directly to DIM. But to be able to upload a loadout to one of these slots would be so nice. So for instance, if I created a loadout here in my onslaught build and I wanted to put that in here, instead of having to click apply and wait 10 years for this to fully apply all the mods and items, I could just upload it to slot 5 and it'd be there ready to go. But that's just a huge wishlist item. Again, if I was Bungie, please allow us to delete certain stuff from the loadout system I do not want to save. And then possibly add more if we can, and then maybe create some interaction with an API where you can change your loadouts on the fly. Even if it's in orbit, I don't care. Just being able to change them without having to, because it's almost having unlimited. If you add that ability, it's almost like having unlimited loadouts. Because if they're all stored in DIM and you can upload them really quickly, then theoretically you have unlimited loadouts. So that's the other solution. But that's it for the video. Again, if you want to start using this strategy, I think it's very beneficial for people who don't like to interact with loadouts because of how annoying they are saving stuff. You click the wrong one and you lose all your abilities, lose all your ammo. Just always use these paste slots like I do, and it makes it a lot more easy, a lot more approachable, and a lot more fun because loadouts can be fun, believe it or not. So that's going to be it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do so. And stay tuned for some more videos upcoming. And if you have not, please follow me over at twitch.tv/DacersGaming, as I will be playing the final shape every day from launch to the day 1 raid and after. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. See you then.
This shit. You want an endorsement? Here's an endorsement. I hated doing this shit all the time in Destiny 2 until you told me this hack. That's the title of the video right there.
This one simple hack.
I feel like I
This
missed
one
something.
simple hack turned me from hack to pro.
All right, that's going.